into full-on war machine mode and rolls over Hero, and Hero's got to do more to hold back the Polt economy, and let's see if he can pull that off. We've got Liquid Hero, he is in the red trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the southwest of the GSL Daybreak versus his opponent, currently at one game in a best-of-3 series. It is TSL Polt. He is in the blue trunks playing Terran to the northeast.
And the one advantage Hero definitely has in this series is the comfort of teammates being able to come on stage and say, dude, don't worry, you're actually doing fine. You're doing fine, but remember observers. Just remember observers, Hero.
Yeah, that really did kill him in that fight.
And, you know, he won the fight, but he lost so much gas-intensive units as well, picking off sentries and, you know, the rest of the army to just Cloak Ghost, just sitting there killing units. And that was his biggest mistake in that game by far. And that's the comfort of teammates, because at Hero, without that, you know,
you second guess yourself if you don't have someone else to tell you,
like,
no,
oh my god, I
this
just
is
can't beat this guy. And he's like, yeah, no, that's true. Like, if I did that, I wouldn't have been in that position. And on the other hand, Polt doesn't need teammates, man. He's just winning anyway.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary. It's good. Liquid perhaps has some of the kind of best support, I suppose, when it comes to live tournaments. They've always got at least somebody there, whether it be a teammate or an actual staff member, to look after their team, and that's great. It really is. And some of the Koreans over here maybe feel just a little bit isolated in that respect, but regardless, Polt doesn't seem to be showing it, and is doing absolutely fine. He played a textbook example of Terran versus Protoss here, and Hero is going to go for a Nexus first.
Yeah, and Command Center first and Polt. Probe of Hero did deny it for about 5 seconds or so, but every second counts. And Nexus here, you know, is super standard, to be honest, especially playing against an opponent you know will go Command Center first, because if you go for that gateway expansion and he goes for this build, you're going to have a significant loss in terms of income as that orbital command finishes up. So he tries to keep on a same level here as Polt.
Yeah, that's very true. Hero's just going to keep an eye on things for as long as he possibly can. Maybe just try and poke and do a little bit of damage here and there, slip into the main and see what's going on. But it's fairly predictable. If you go Command Center first, it's pretty much got to be double barracks. In the same way, if you go Nexus first, it's very likely to be double gateway, because otherwise your army just ends up being too small and you are vulnerable to early harass.
Yeah, I mean, with a double gateway, I mean, against Command Center first, maybe it's not as viable, or you don't need to do it, because he can't be aggressive. He's got Command Center of his own. So he may just stick on one, get gases, probably tech up. But if he does throw down additional gateways, he could do pressure from here. But the problem is the probe Polt trapped it inside the base. Therefore, it can't get out. It can't go ahead and build a pylon somewhere close. So good trap there by Polt, who has thrown down double barracks. He hasn't gone for a third one. So by the looks of it, he's going to grab both refineries very shortly and then just tech up off the 2 barracks, knowing himself, I don't need an additional barracks, because you've gone Nexus first also.
Yeah, and Hero keeps it alive for as long as it can, but doesn't really gain any information. He would have loved to see gas going down, but of course Polt has no intention of allowing that to happen. Cybernetic score now completed for Hero, and both of these guys boosting their economy as much as possible. Probe count is of course higher than SCV count at this stage due to Chrono Boost, but there are mules on the field to even that up.
What is Polt doing? Is he going to throw down a third command center, or what is this? What is this?
Yeah,
no, he's actually throwing down a lot more barracks. So he saves up a lot of money, throws down 2 more barracks, and what else is he going to do from this? Because I don't think he can stay on just 4 barracks, right? So he throws down double refineries as well. So he's gone for this a little bit confusing build here, and at the same time, Hero doesn't have a way to see this or understand what's going on. And what we're going to be seeing from Polt is quite a bit of heavy aggression, delaying his tech. He was going to use the gas from double refineries, tech lab, get straight into stim, combat shields, push out with a very intensive little aggression push.
Yeah, very true. And Hero's going to have a little bit of a poke up here, but does need to be careful. He's gone straight for it and just kind of threw that Zealot away and didn't do anything, so I don't know if that was particularly viable.
And we do see a second gateway coming down now. Still nothing out of Hero. Has got a lot of gas banked up. And it looks like he's posturing potentially. So I was going to say maybe take a third base here, but that is a bit of a risk. And he does throw down 4 additional gateways. So 6 gate coming out from Hero. Does have that strong economy from going for the Nexus first. And he's faking out this.
Yeah.
But he has to kill the SCV though, otherwise it doesn't work. Well, I mean, he's trying to fake that, okay, maybe I'm going to take my third base. Maybe. And then he but I'll let you see if I do or not.
Yeah, it's maybe a possible cancel after that and then just go straight into massive gateway pressure. Keep Polt guessing it. It's a cute little mind game, I suppose.
I think he thinks he's killed it. I'm sure he thinks he's killed it.
Really? Yeah, I mean, it would make sense. It's just leaving the SCV on 1 HP doesn't... That's... Yeah,
he thinks he's killed it, and now he's going to do 6 gate. Polt's going to try and scout soon, but we'll see. Polt has a lot of units on the ground because he's going for this 4 barracks, and Polt moves out and is like, oh, you didn't take it? Oh, thanks for keeping me alive. And all of a sudden, Polt's going to be thinking, all right, why hasn't he taken it? No scans or anything has come down from Polt. He doesn't know exactly what's coming. He's only on 1 bunker, so even if he doesn't know about it, he's still not prepared. He needs to throw down another bunker, which he's doing now. Stim is obviously nowhere near completion, and this could still work for Hero. Yeah, it definitely could. Even if Polt's suspecting it, he's not prepared for it. It's just not ready. The pylon is in a great position as well, and Hero's going to start this push. Army supply count currently in favor of Polt very slightly, but it won't be after this warp in. Things are going to start to get very hairy for Polt. Yeah, Polt's under a lot of pressure here. Force fields wrapped behind, the bunkers are coming, and he's got a lot of units, and now Polt knows about it. Oh yeah, but will it make a difference? There's 2 force fields well placed. It didn't even matter. The SCVs couldn't get there in time. 2 more really good force fields there, and he can take the bunker down as well. And now things start to get really dangerous for Polt. He's got to hold up against this and not take too many economic losses, but he is defending very well. Throws that back. Second warp in Zealots this time around. This pylon is not the primary offensive pylon. This one is. He's able to continue the warp ins. The Zealots get into the mix there, but are cut down very, very rapidly here by Polt. Yeah. Hero's supply count falls quite rapidly. The defense is looking pretty good. Yeah, the defense was really good there by Polt, and Hero is not going to achieve what he wanted from this. But at the same time, Polt had to use SCVs. They pulled all of them off. That's a loss of mining time. That is also 11 SCVs killed there for Hero. The problem for Hero is going for this investment of 6 gateways is that his tech is so far behind. It is, yeah. Only now he's starting to tech up. There's no robotics facility, only double forge coming down now, and we see a 3rd command center from Polt. So even though he lost SCVs, he has an extra set of mules, he has an extra set of production line in SCVs. He now has a factory with reactor finishing soon, and Starport and Medivac's coming out. He's also going double engineering bay. He's just covering all angles here, and even though that didn't work for Hero and he's still got a higher probe count, the tech disadvantage is the biggest thing. It's fairly critical. Just bear in mind that Polt defended that without combat shield and without stim. And now he's got both. And this is going to get a little messy. He's even working on concussive shell. Doesn't quite have it yet. Would have been nice if he did be able to take that Stalker out. But if Hero tries to go again, he needs to go home, I feel. There's no point. He also needs to get rid of that damn SCV that's been sitting there for the last 5 minutes just giggling to itself. Yeah, it really has, and it's getting so much information. The Hero's kind of tech route now is if he tries to go robotics facility, he gets caught in an awkward timing, he has minimal units. So the smoothest transition from Hero now is I'm just going to stick on gateway units. I've got gateways, let's build gateway units, let's upgrade them, let's get Blink, let's go 2-2, and just go from here. And then he'll try and establish a 3rd base. But the problem with this style is the lack of area of effect damage via Colossus, via Storm that he's not going to be able to have, and not for a while. He can throw down a Tempo Archive soon, but there's so long for that to actually come out that Polt's army just becomes stronger because of what Hero doesn't have. That's very true, and Polt, just look at that. It's already looking terrifying. He's got a couple of Medivacs, a lot of Marines, a lot of Marauders, and a lot of guns in general. Now rolling out, he's going to drop down as well 4 additional barracks just to make sure that his production is kept rolling at the highest possible level. Finally, this Nexus does end up going down, and Polt knows about it. Army supply currently 65 versus 60, though Hero does have Stalkers in the main. He pulls them down, as he does have pylons on the right-hand side. They actually do help scout a little bit, but more importantly, he has to keep this alive, this 3rd base, and the scan goes from Polt saying, oh, it's a lot of gateway units there, and especially because they're at 1-1, Polt doesn't have any upgrades. But with 4 Medivacs, it becomes a lot more comfortable for Polt to take a fight here. Maybe he'll run to the 3rd, maybe drop in the main and split his units up. And that looks like maybe happening here, but... That's a big-ass drop. That's huge. Look at it. Yeah, this is going to be very, very awkward. He does have Stalkers in the main, but even if Polt just has the smallest amount of room to deploy, all those Stalkers will die immediately. Yeah, but Hero does have Blink, but he is backing off here. Does he have any idea what's coming? The 3rd base as well. Yeah, the 3rd base is taking a lot of fire. He's trying to reinforce that. Here comes the drop as well. Hero goes for the interception. He shoots a lot of the units down, but it probably won't be enough. He needs to Blink Micro, but he's also dealing with that. He's lost the 3rd, now charging into that. He needs to Blink Micro here, but he hasn't done it, and those Stalkers have got crushed
by TSL Polt's drop, and it's now dealing significant damage to the main base, and things are looking really good for him right now.
Yeah, oh my god, Hero's in such a world of trouble. Even though he's going to clean up, losing that base on the third base is so big. He's losing a lot of units in the middle. Zealot's just running around force fields, and all of a sudden, Polt takes a commanding lead if he wasn't already at that before.
That was brutal, it really was. Polt has a huge economic lead over his opponent in terms of having a third, in terms of having more units, in terms of having more workers. Everything's up against Hero right now. Their Archons just end up running in there and doing very, very little, and this may very well be the end of Hero, and these upgrades aren't even going to come into play either unless he gets a really clutch defense, and he looks to try and get just that. Unfortunately, the force fields don't stop that forge from going down. The +2 weapon is still there. Hero is able to warp in additional units. The supply count is looking really ugly though.
Indeed it is, and 2-2 is on the way for Polt, but nowhere near completion. But at the same time, Hero is just about pushing this off. The problem is, even if he does push it off, there's a third base fully saturated, there's gases being taken there, and shortly we'll see even more production thrown down, maybe even a fourth base thrown down as Polt sits back a little bit. But Polt is going to be relentless with this, won't give Hero any breathing room at all, and goes in once again.
And he just crushes that Vanguard force, absolutely annihilated. That was just, you know, he traded 6 or 7 units for nothing. It doesn't matter. The Archon's getting slaughtered there as well. And finally, maybe he can shove this back, but I don't think so. Like, this might just be a game-ending push, and there it is. GG.